Hello there. In this video lesson we're going to show you how you can create your own personalized bracelet by placing a pattern inside, in this instance, as you can see from the screenshot there, the pattern goes inside 4 different circles, and the pattern can be all kinds of patterns which are available on Fluid Designer, but in this instance we're going to show you how you can use a Korean freedom pattern. So if you start Fluid Designer up, first of all, if I just click on Group Libraries, I'll go to, let me see, we want the Korean patterns. So if I go to Patterns Korean, as you can see there's lots of patterns available here. We're going to use this pattern here, this Korean freedom pattern. Okay, and we're going to add it to a bracelet. So if I go to bracelets, now I'm going to start off by doing this using this object here, which is the 65mm by 1 bracelet. So if I just drag and drop that onto the workspace, here you can see there's only 1 circle. So I'm going to add my Korean pattern to the 1 circle first of all, and I'll just switch on screencast keys. So what do I need to do? Well, as is usual, we go to File and Append, and if I just go up through the menu system until I get to Groups, and I'm looking for Patterns Korean, and I want the Freedom pattern. And as is usual, we want the object, so it's a Korean pattern Freedom, and if we just append that from the library, there you can see our pattern. Now at the moment, as you can see, it's not in the same orientation as our bracelet. So the first thing we need to do is, if we press R on the keyboard and X to rotate and type 90 degrees, you can now see that it's at it's at the right angle compared to our bracelet. So, well, what we could do is we could just try joining the two together, and let's just see what happens. So I've got the pattern highlighted. If I hold down the Shift key and click on the bracelet itself, and if I go to Tools, Object Tools and Join, let's see what happens. Well, it's not done too bad a job actually. It is sticking out a little bit on the inside, and as you can see there is some overlap on the outside, because essentially we've got 2 discs around the pattern coming together, so it does look a little bit odd. So let's just do Edit and Undo, and Edit and Undo, or I could have done Control Z on the keyboard. Okay, so what can we do here? Well, first of all, if I go to View and Front View, I'm going to see if I can delete the circle around the outside of this pattern. Not all patterns have got circles around, but this one does. So what I need to do is select the control points that make up the circle. So if I hold down the Shift key, there should be 9 points altogether around here. I need to make sure I get the right ones. Yep, so I want the 4 control points, actually 8 control points altogether, not 9. The 4 control points just touching the circle, and then the 4 control points in the corner are what makes up that object. So if I press X on the keyboard and delete those vertices, you can see the outline of my pattern disappears, but the center bit is still there. Now don't worry about the holes in there, because this is actually going to fit inside our circle over here. Well, let me just join it again, and let me just let's just see what it looks like. So Tools, Object Tools and Join, and as you can see it's just not quite fitting right on the inside there. Okay, so if I do Control Z to undo this time, and Control Z again, so what do we need to do? Well, it's about the position of this object here. So if I go to View and Top View, you can see that my pattern, it's not quite selected at the moment. Let me just see where the pattern is. Yeah, it's this Korean pattern freedom. Yeah, I've got the yellow line around it now, so that's better. You can see that the x-axis, that's the red line here, goes through the middle of the pattern. Well, when we're wrapping patterns around curves, wrapping them around this 65mm diameter, we need the bottom of the pattern lined up with the x-axis, which it isn't at the moment. So if I just scroll the center mouse button and zoom in, and if I press the tab key to go into edit mode, now this object's not currently highlighted and there's a lot of points on it, so the way to select all the points is to press the A key on the keyboard, and you can see all the control points are selected now. That's quite important. Now if I just zoom in, now the grid's changed for me and the snap is on, so I should be able to move this up. Yep, so there it is. It's in line now with the red line, which is the x-axis. So if I just come out of edit mode now, and if I just tilt my screen around, so the pattern is selected. If I hold down the shift key and click onto the bracelet and then go to Tools, Object Tools and join them together, you can see now my pattern has fitted in much better. It's not absolutely perfect because you can see there's a little bit of overlap up there. So if I just press the tab key, now here's where I need to be a little bit cleverer. So press A to deselect all those control points, and I just want to, I'm going to have to switch the snap off here. If I just move that down a little bit so it fits inside there. Not quite sure which that one is. Yeah, so just move that down a little bit. So if I just look around, so it's only those two that are slightly out there. Okay, so press the tab key again. So there it is. There's my pattern placed inside one of the rings of my bracelet. Okay, so that's how you go about doing it. So let's just go to File and New, and let's go to File and Bracelets again. So we selected the 65mm by 1 bracelet there. If we go back to my opening screen, you'll see that here we put the pattern into 4 different circles, and that's what I'm going to do now. Excuse me. So I want 65mm by 4. I don't want the square one. This is a square one. I want the rounded one. So I want this object here. Just drag and drop that onto the workspace. So as you can see, we've got 4 circles here, but the principle's the same. So we go to File and Append, and we're already in the Korean Freedom pattern folder, so we can select the pattern again and append that from the library. And let's just make sure we've got it selected. Yes, we've got the yellow line around it. So first of all, let me view it from the top first of all, and we'll delete the circle around the outside. So if we press the tab key on the keyboard to go into edit mode, I'll just switch screencast keys on again. So we want that control point there, and if I hold down the shift key and select the points around the circle, the disc that goes around this pattern, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 corners selected. So if I press X on the keyboard and delete those vertices, that outline should disappear. Now I do know from having just looked at the previous one that one of these is just going to stick out slightly, but I don't know which one it is at the moment. So let's just press the tab key to come out of edit mode. Now we need to rotate this about the x-axis. So if we press R on the keyboard and X on the keyboard and 90 degrees, that puts it at the right angle now. Now remember, from the one we've just seen, this isn't lined up properly here. We need to move the bottom of this in line with the x-axis, the red line. So let's just view it from the top. And let's press the tab key to go into edit mode. And we press A on the keyboard. A will select all the control points in that object, all the control points. So I'll just go view top again. And we need to move it up Yeah, I've moved it up so that it's in line there with the x-axis. So we can press the tab key to come out of edit mode there. So we've got the pattern itself highlighted. All we need to do is hold down the shift key and click on the bracelet itself, and then go to Tools, Object Tools, and join them together. And as you can see, what it's done is it's put my pattern in all 4 circles in one go. And the only thing I think I need to do is, if we just zoom in, we can see there's a slight error here. And if I just press the tab key, and oh gosh, this is quite a bit trickier than the other one because we've got too many of them here. So if I just zoom in on that one, I think that's probably the one that I want. And I need to switch off the snap, and I just need to move that control point down until it just fits in there. And then we got the right control point. I think I've got the right control point there for that slight error. So if I just move it down until that strange line disappears, that should be it. So if I just press the tab key to come out of edit mode, and if I just zoom in now, that's tidied up that bit at the top. Now really you should be a bit more careful and look around all of this, inside and outside. I mean, there's a lot of control points here, and when these patterns are created, they will work with the original object, but you may just need to tweak them slightly. So you do need to zoom in, have a good look around, and make sure that everything is fitting okay, that you get no strange nothing looks strange. You don't get any strange lines or strange shading. Yeah, so that looks okay. So as is usual with Fluid Designer, we don't recommend that you save this object. We recommend that you export it to the desktop as an OBJ file. So if you go to File and Export, export this as a wavefront object, and it's a 65mm by 4 bracelet with a freedom pattern. Now, this will probably take a little bit of time to save because Fluid Designer's got to join all those objects together. When it's saving it as an OBJ file, it actually converts it to a mesh. So it's just got to sort all that lot out, and it's just saving the file to a desktop. But do remember, you must always take this object to Netfab Basic before you attempt to 3D print it. Netfab will check everything for you, probably do a few minor repairs, but essentially, as you saw in the opening screen, this bracelet is 3D printable. As I said, it's going to take a little bit of time to save this object, so I say we'll just leave it, let it finish before I finish the video. Okay, so there is the bracelet again, and the file's been saved to the desktop, and essentially that's the final object that you will get if you 3D print this. And it obviously can be printed in plastic, in bronze, in steel, or in silver. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you.